Ukraine says it was able to defend its capital against a, quote, exceptional Russian air attack Tuesday morning. The Ukrainian Air Force says all 18 missiles fired at Kyiv were shot down with the help of air defense systems recently provided by Western allies. The city's military administration says Russian forces likely used ballistic and cruise missiles, as well as drones. Authorities have not yet provided any information on casualties. To discuss this further, let's bring in Luke Coffey. He's a senior fellow at the Hudson Institute. Luke, thanks for being with us. What does this indicate, the ability to shoot down these missiles, about the capabilities of the Ukrainian defenses?
It's a reminder of how innovative and capable Ukrainian forces have been from the very beginning of this conflict. For months, Western policymakers were writing off Ukrainians as being unable to quickly learn how to use these very complex weapon systems. And now we're seeing that they're using them not only very effectively, but achieving new records. For the first time, the Patriot missile system successfully taking down a hypersonic missile fired from Russia, which before this conflict, Raytheon, the company that makes Patriot, said it was only theoretical that the Patriot could take down a hypersonic missile. So we're seeing great things coming out of Ukraine's ability to use these weapon systems. So
sticking on that point about the Patriot missiles, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed that one of the U.S.-made Patriot air defense systems was likely damaged in an attack. If that's the case, how could that affect the Ukrainian defenses?
We don't know if this is the case or not. The Russians claim that this happened. The Ukrainians deny it. The Americans have been unclear about it. But even if the Patriot system was damaged, we shouldn't worry about this. This is war. This isn't Hollywood.
Right.
Things get damaged. And the bottom line is this single Patriot missile battery that is located near Kyiv has proved to be very effective. So if it is the case that it was damaged, then the United States needs to work with our allies to fix that damage or replace that system as quickly as possible. But I would take any claim that the Russian Ministry of Defense makes with a grain of salt.
Right. Yes. Or perhaps two. Let me ask you a diplomatic question. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced a nearly $3 billion military aid package. I think that's larger than everything Germany is given so far. What do you make of that from Germany? And does it tell us anything more about the resilience of the anti-Russian alliance in Europe?
It tells us a lot about how laborious policymaking can be in certain European capitals. It took Germany a long time to get here, but it's finally started to deliver a lot of significant equipment, a very capable equipment, including main battle tanks, advanced air defense systems. We would have liked Germany to move a little faster than they did, but the bottom line is they are now stepping up to the plate and delivering the goods for Ukraine. And a part of this is a testament to President Zelensky's diplomatic ability. He went from capital to capital across Europe, Rome, Berlin, Paris, London, and with each stop, he got new announcements, new promises of equipment, and advanced equipment too. So this is all very positive for the overall defense of Ukraine. And I think it shows that Europeans are not wavering, that they're not tiring from the situation, and they will continue to step up to the plate. And that should be encouraged and praised.
From advances on the diplomatic front to the question of advances on the ground, Ukraine's deputy defense minister, I should say, has confirmed that troops have advanced slightly in the eastern city of Bakhmut, which has been a pitched battle. A combined question, the one that's been a part of this conflict since the invasion started. Why isn't Russia any better at fighting? And secondly, what's your sense of the long-discussed Ukrainian counteroffensive that so many people have been expecting?
Well, as Russia has to dig deeper into its old stockpiles and dig deeper into its population to conscript and bring new soldiers into uniform, the Ukrainians have been receiving a steady flow of very advanced modern weapons, and they still have that esprit de corps amongst the population that want to fight, that want to defend their nation right now. So that's the big difference, I would say, between the Ukrainians and the Russians in terms of their militaries. And that's why I think we're seeing a lot of problems coming from Russia, because they're just not as well equipped or trained or motivated as the Ukrainians are right now. In terms of the developments around Bakhmut, when I speak to contacts that are on the ground or near the area in the Ukrainian armed forces, they tell me that a lot of what we're seeing around Bakhmut, the advancements we're seeing, are actually a consequence of Ukrainians taking advantage of a tactical situation on the ground. And it's not necessarily part of that larger counteroffensive operation that we are all expecting. I suspect that the counteroffensive, though, has probably started with these very large-scale, complex military operations like this major counteroffensive. It's difficult to pinpoint just a single event that marks the beginning. So I suspect that we're already witnessing the beginning phases of this counteroffensive, but we need to be patient. We will not know whether or not the counteroffensive is a success or a failure for months. And we just need to have faith that the Ukrainians can do the job, and we need to continue backing them and supporting them so we give them the best shot at success.
Luke Coffey with the Hudson Institute. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.